Good evening, everyone. It's your guy J Crew to you, coming at you with yet another video here for Monday, March 28th, 2022. Here tonight to give y'all my thoughts on the story that's taking the entertainment industry by storm, that was involving both Will Smith and Chris Rock, that took place last night with the 2022 Academy Award Oscar ceremony. Let me start off by saying that I don't normally watch the Oscars like that. I'm not really a fan of that ceremony. It's been kind of a boring thing to watch year in, year out for me. It's been kind of like a lot of older people that go to the ceremony year after year after year, and it tends to be much ado about nothing, where they get awarded for their accomplishments in the film industry. They have many awards that are given out, like the best picture, best actor, best actress, best director, etc. And for anyone who has been following Will Smith's career, he's been really active since the 90s in terms of movies and TV shows of note for himself. Of course, he played the lead character in the legendary TV series Fresh Prince of Bel-Air in the early to mid 90s. I'm a huge fan of that show. I was a huge fan of that show then as a young man growing up. It portrayed very positive, upwardly mobile black people in the Banks family that allowed for their cousin, their nephew to move in and sort of make do with them for a little while. Will Smith's character came from a very poor background in that show, but he made something of himself by probably going through the typical teen mistakes and entertaining the heck out of us on that show. After he left that show, he began his epic movie career, being in movies such as Independence Day in 1996, Men in Black in 97, Wild Wild West was one of his few flops, etc. He's been in a lot of films over the past 30 years. Either way, one thing that had eluded Will Smith was an Academy Award honor. He had never been seen as the best actor, or never been presented as the best actor for a film. Well, that all was going to, at least in theory, going to be changing last night, because late this past year, Will Smith did a movie that was based upon Richard Williams, who was the father of the legendary tennis professional player sisters Venus and Serena Williams. And it was called King Richard. And most people talk about how great that film was. You know, he basically portrayed their father in the film, and it showed how, you know, he kind of just dedicated his whole life to making sure that they became great professional tennis players, which of course is what they did in real life. But unfortunately and tragically, in my mind, that would not be what last night, March 27th, 2022, was known for. For probably the rest of history, Will Smith probably wasted his opportunity to really be looked at as one of the more classier and one of the more talented performers in Hollywood, because of, I guess you say, somewhat of a nemesis in his mind, otherwise known as Chris Rock. Chris Rock, he has hosted the Oscars before, to my knowledge. I don't know exactly how many times, but I think he has been a host in the past. But either way, he ended up being a host last night. And another bit of significance was that not only was Chris Rock the host, but there was a producer who was well known in the black film community named Will Packard. Will Packard has produced a bunch of Hollywood films that star black actors. A lot of them probably have been maybe lower budget films, but he is nevertheless a very experienced man. And I know y'all probably asking, okay, hey man, why in the world you even mentioning that? You'll see that shortly in terms of why I'm mentioning that. Well, over the past several years, Chris Rock has taken, just kind of cracked on, or should I say, taking comedic shots at Will Smith's wife, Jada Pinkett Smith. many people who remember, several years ago, I want to say 2016, 2015, when Jada Pinkett and Will Smith and other people came out talking about the Oscars were so white. I think Will Smith, had announced he was going to boycott it. But then Jada Pinkett said she was going to come out and boycott the Oscars too several years ago. And again, I want to say it was 2016. Either way, when that kind of got out with her comments, Chris Rock, I think when he was hosting, or either maybe he was just a guest presenter one year, I can't remember exactly what it was. Chris Rock had made a joke about that. Well, he said, well, you all, I know you guys are hearing about the Oscars are so white. Well, Will Smith and said he's going to boycott the show, but then he said Jada Pinkett said that too. He was like, and again, I'm going to have to sort of paraphrase his joke. And it's a bit crude. And again, I may not even say it right. I'm going to try to paraphrase to the best of my ability. He was like, well, Jada Pinkett and the Oscars is like comparing me to Rihanna. Me and Rihanna are not going to have a chance in hell of getting together and doing anything. And Jada Pinkett coming to the Oscars doesn't mean nothing because nobody cares not whether she shows up or not. Basically, what Chris Rock was saying was that her comment had no significance because Jada Pinkett is not taken seriously as a Hollywood actress. Nobody really cared about her boycotting the Oscars when she said it. People probably respected when Will Smith said that. Nobody cared about when Jada Pinkett kind of came out and act like she was going to boycott too. And that was several years ago. And I don't know if Will had ever came out and said anything about that. I don't know if he had ever spoken on that. Keep in mind, Will Smith and Jada have been married for many years now. So she's still his wife. And so with that kind of like in the backdrop, last night when Chris Rock came out and he was presenting a certain award, I think for best documentary or something like that. He was talking about Javier Bardem, I believe. I think that was the actor's name, and his wife. And then he kind of went over and got a dig in on Jada again. And what was significant was that Jada Pinkett, if you notice her hairstyle, it was like she was pretty much bald. And she has a hair condition that causes baldness called alopecia. And Chris Rock saw her bald head, and he kind of made a joke about that. He was like, hey, Jada, how you doing? Can't wait to see you in G.I. Jane 2. And it was basically based upon her having a bald head. And, of course, if you've seen G.I. Jane, I believe that was a movie that starred Demi Moore back in the day. She played this lady who was in the armed services. And, she goes bald in that film. I can't remember exactly what it was about, like blow for blow. But that's what Chris Rock was basically saying Jada Pinkett was looking like. And with his previous comments that were made several years ago, as the backdrop, Will Smith kind of chuckled it off. He was laughing at first. But what was more significant is when they panned over to Jada, who was sitting, to his left, our right. Jada Pinkett kind of rolled her eyes and kind of didn't laugh. As Chris Rock was going to try to continue his little spiel, Will Smith just kind of got up out of his seat because Will Smith was pretty much sitting like in the front row of the presentation, or of the audience rather. He was in the front row. He quickly walked to Chris Rock and caught his right hand back and smacked Chris Rock across the face. Chris Rock took it like a champ. But unfortunately, he literally hit him. When he first hit him, Will was kind of smiling. And so he walked away, went and sat in his seat, and Chris Rock was like, wow. Will Smith just hit me. And you could tell he was shocked. He couldn't believe it. He was just like, he was kind of stuck for words. And the audience, they didn't know what to make. They kind of laughed and they thought it was fake. But then seconds later, as Will Smith sat down, he yelled so the entire room could hear for the first time. He was like, keep my wife's name out your effing mouth. And some people said, there was gasp. And then Chris Rock was like, well, he tried to keep talking a little bit. I think he said a few things. I think he said something like, this is the greatest night in television, just to get a laugh. And Will Smith said again, keep my wife's name out your effing mouth. And again, he didn't say F, and he actually said the F word all out. And then Chris Rock, you could tell he was flustered. He kind of got stuck for words for like maybe 30 seconds or so. But then he kind of continued on by saying, well, folks, let's get to the best documentary. And it was just shocking. And what was ironic was that later on in the evening, Will Smith actually won for Best Actor in King Richard. He won his first Academy Award. My point is, folks, ain't nobody gonna remember that show for Will Smith winning that award. And it's a plum shame. It's a dang shame. That's an incredible award for him, given he's been in Hollywood so long. He's never won. That's incredible. He's never won, yo. And he's been in Hollywood that long. But what was so sad was that nobody was going to remember that because of Will's actions into the smacking Chris Rock. I was both stunned, laughing, sad, and just, it was kind of hard to watch me. You see, it's almost like two black men going to war, except they ain't in the street. They on one of the highest professional stages you could be on in the entertainment industry, if not the highest, with this award show. Either way, Will Smith got there late on that night after he accepted his award. He was crying. He somewhat addressed it, but what was striking was that he apologized to the Academy and his fellow nominees. He had nothing to say to Chris Rock at all. He didn't apologize to him. So it came off as kind of like staged and fake because he's an actor. That's what he does. They can turn off, and turn on that emotion. I didn't really buy it with that being said. And so to me, I just thought it was just a fake gesture. Also, later on in the evening, they have the Oscar Awards after parties. Will Smith went to one. I think Chris Rock went to another. The one that Will Smith went to, he was in a party, having a good time dancing, having pumping the award up. He took pictures with his family. He didn't look sorry at all. He was like, man, just whatever, man. Like he was just not serious about it. And he was just already over it. But either way, during his award speech, what was ironic was that Will Smith said, wow, we're seeing art imitate life. And he said, the reason he said that was that Richard Williams was known to be sort of protective over his family. If anybody said something about Venus and Serena, he had to come out and defend them. Because people used to pick at the Williams girls about their looks, saying they were ugly like monkeys and stuff like that, which is very unfortunate because Serena actually has been perceived as highly desirable since she's been an adult. But either way, Will Smith said, I feel like I've had to protect my family. He said, people take shots at you all the time. And, I feel like I have to come out and be that protector. And he had even mentioned during one of their commercial breaks after the initial smacking of Chris Rock that Denzel came up to him. He said, Will, at your highest moments, the devil is going to come for you. And he kind of mentioned that, and he said he was sorry, to the Academy and to his fellow nominees. But, he just mentioned that he told him that. But he didn't say sorry to Chris Rock directly. Which tell me their conflict is pretty deep. It scarred Will pretty deep. That Chris Rock is taking shots at his wife like that. And You know, I just thought it was just epically sad. That is the pinnacle of Will Smith's career, when you're acknowledged as the best in the business for that year for your role in a movie. But yet you could control yourself for 5 minutes of a little routine that Chris Rock was doing. And it absolutely just ruined your night. Nobody's going to remember him for winning the Academy Award in that movie. They're going to remember the fact that he hit another black man. They're going to remember that. They're going to remember that Will Smith hit another black dude. And I think it's tragic for as accomplished as he is, he lost his cool over some bull crap like that. You know, it was just epically sad to see him lose his cool. I've always admired Will Smith. He's a multi-talented guy that he's been a successful rapper, actor, producer. Because I think him and Jada, they have their own production company called Overbrook Entertainment, where they kind of have produced their own films, you know, throughout the years. You know, and involve other black actors through Hollywood in their productions. So it was tragic to see Will Smith kind of diminish himself like that, because he's never come off like that. He's always been a very respectable gentleman and, you know, well-spoken and energetic, very positive. Again, I understand that we're all not perfect, but I was just disappointed to see him kind of sink to that kind of low, man. That was very disappointing. Just as a fan of Will Smith, that was very hard to watch. That was extremely hard to watch. And I was just disappointed, man. I can't lie. I was very, very disappointed. And, but of course, I'm giving my commentary on this right now. There are other people who've also given out their commentary and other videos. And I want to give props to somebody who you think I wouldn't even give props to concerning this issue. My guy, Shannon Sharpe, who's posted up on the screen, who takes part in the show, I believe, on Fox Sports called Skip and Shannon Undisputed. I guess the only reason they were covering this was to get ratings, but Shannon, he went in on this issue. He went in on Will Smith. Because again, we're not used to hearing anybody going in on Will Smith like that. So when that happens, it's kind of weird. Either way, Shannon went in on him. He gave his commentary. And again, I'm going to post the video in the link. But either way, Shannon Sharpe was saying, and he was basically just talking like a grown man and not really in a very tactful way. And I love that when Shannon Sharpe does that. Sometimes Shannon Sharpe, he gets very emotional when he speaks. And he can sort of not come off as articulate at times, because he'll get so emotional and jacked up. He'll say half a sentence and then he'll just forget to state the other half. You know, his thoughts don't come out clearly. It's like I might understand what he says, but other people who are not familiar with urban vernacular, let's just say, they may not be familiar with what he says. Either way, when that show came on, Shannon gave his commentary, I couldn't stop laughing and smiling, because it's the way I felt. But he articulated it very well for the most part. He had a couple of statements that he said in there where he didn't sound clear. But he articulated himself very well. Shannon Sharpe was like, he even kind of took the issue back to what Will Smith had been going through on another front. I was just speaking about the issue between Chris Rock and Jada publicly with the Oscars. Shannon Sharpe even commented on another personal issue that Will Smith had going on some years back. For you guys who've been paying attention to this stuff, if you can pay attention to Will Smith and his life, you know that Will basically has had to weather a storm. About a year or so ago, it was revealed that there was this young R&B singer by the name of August Anthony Alsina that had moved in with them, and he became physically involved with Jada. I mean, I don't know. Some people have speculated that Will and Jada, they kind of get on with, you know, be having an open marriage, have multiple sex partners. That's been speculation for years. So I'm not going to touch on that too much because it's just speculation. Other people said August had problems and maybe they just wanted to help him. But Jada reportedly became very involved with him sexually. She became involved with August Anthony Alsina. And what happened is that when this became public information, Jada Pinkett had this little online YouTube show called Red Table Talk or something like that. And she began to talk about it. And eventually, she even brought Will Smith on there. And everybody was like, Will Smith coming on that show to discuss his wife sleeping with another man? It just made Will Smith look real soft. And there was this infamous term that was birthed from it called an entanglement. Because that's what Jada Pinkett, I think that's what she called it. I want to say she called it like an entanglement. And Will Smith started laughing. But either way, everybody was on Will Smith. Oh, man, Will Smith like a punk. He looked soft. And it was very embarrassing to see him having to go through that, given he's been like a respected individual in the entertainment industry. It just made you want to take shots. I'm like, man, what you sitting there looking all calm for? And your woman talking about sleeping with another dude. She's talking about sleeping with another dude. You're just, looking all calm and just kind of like, just disheveled in your appearance. You look tired, you look weathered. Why is he accepting being talked to and treated like this? It was just weird, man. It was just weird to see Will Smith like that in that position, yo. It was just weird. Everybody kept saying, why Will Smith like sitting there just chilling like that? He ain't saying nothing to his wife. In terms of getting on her, getting crazy with her. But either way, getting back to Shannon Sharpe. Shannon Sharpe basically almost started off his verbal smacking of Will Smith by saying, Will, yeah, you smacked Chris Rock and everything, but why did you go smack the dude that was doing what you should have been doing within your own household? Meaning, why did he go smack All-Star Cena, who was basically kind of sexually satisfying his wife, which is what Will wasn't doing? Shannon Sharpe said Chris Rock should have hit him. Because Shannon Sharpe was saying, if I was Chris Rock, he said I would have whooped Will Smith's ass. I would have whooped him. He said either Will Smith would have had to whoop me. He said, I damn sure gonna try to whoop him. He said, I ain't never seen nobody kind of just roll up on somebody, just try to get at him like that. And, smack him and then act like it's just something that can be funny and nothing can be done. I don't think anybody had ever seen nothing like that. That was weird, man. That was weird. That was absolutely crazy. I know myself, I've never seen nothing like that. It looked very, very awkward. And you can tell Chris Rock was very embarrassed. He was hurt. But Shannon Sharpe was just going in on it. He was just going in on Will Smith like, man, I know where you could do that. And he basically said what I was just saying, like, on this biggest night of your life, what's the pinnacle of your career, you just embarrass yourself by smacking this dude. And then going to the after party and dance like nothing ain't wrong. It was just a very shameful moment for Will Smith. I felt it was sad. And it was just shameful. And I think it'll be out there like this for a week or so, but then it'll go away. But this is never going to go away for Chris Rock or Will Smith. At all, man. At all. Like I said, I'm gonna put the link in the video, but I want y'all to watch the video. I don't want to restate everything Shannon said. A matter of fact, I'm gonna play a little bit of it, and again, this is just kind of used for commentary purposes only. I'm not trying to reuse it for my own viewing, so I'm gonna let y'all watch a little bit of this video at the end, where Shannon talks about this.
Hell, I was surprised and shocked as everybody because I'd never seen anything like this. This is the epitome. This is the height of what they do. This is the Oscars. This is not, we've seen at some of the award shows, and we don't need to name them, where people get to fighting, people get to shooting. But this is, people of elegance, and they, just, they're high and mighty, and they're dressed in their best, their Sunday best. And they're, this is where they go to be lauded for their performances. Yeah. And to have Will Smith behave in this manner. He's talking about, disreading everybody about, he's protecting his wife. Well, where was her protection of a man when she was at the red table talking about what she was doing with this entanglement? Where was her protection of her husband? Chris Rock is a comedian. What comedians do, they can do this better than anybody else. They can take a real life situation and make it funny. That's what comedians are. Comedians take situations, and that's why I say, we up here all the time, Skip. I say there's truth in jokes. Ugh. That's what they do.
There's the most truth in jokes.
So now what we're starting is a golden precedent. I'm saying something about somebody, oh, look at that weave, or look at this hair. Oh, man, bro, what you got on, man, that's terrible. He walks up on stage. What he should have done is what DC Young Fly did last year when somebody came up on the stage and whipped him. Because, see, this is going to be out there for perpetuity. But also would have been out there for perpetuity. I'd have come and fight that Chucks. I'd have whipped Will Smith ass.
I know you.
I would have whipped, he'd have had to whip me, or I'd have had to whip him. And every time I see him, it's on sight. There ain't nothing to say. And hold on, I'm watching him at the Vanity Fair, and Will Smith is carrying on like ain't nothing happened. And then you apologize to the Academy. At the Academy, you need to apologize to that man. Skip, that. Let me tell you, there's three things, especially in our community. You say the N-word, you spit on me, and you slap me. Because if you go back when we were less than, that's what they did. They didn't punch you, they slapped you.
Got it.
Because that's the ultimate sign of disrespect. When you hear somebody, they don't say I'm going to punch you, they say I'm going to slap the you know what out of you. Because that's the ultimate sign of disrespect. Will Smith and his crowning achievement, he finally won an Oscar. And he's had some performances that he could have easily won one. Now, Will Smith won the Oscar in 2022, but what? This overshadows it. He's never going to be able to live this moment down. What should have been his greatest moment, his best, his joy, is marred by this.
Because most people anticipated he was going to win Best Actor.
Right.
Okay.
And so now you take the moment away from Venus and Serena about their dad, the story about their family and their dad. You stole that moment from them. Why? Because he made a joke. This is the first time I get it. Chris Rock said something back in 2016. When Will Smith said he was going to boycott, and Jada said she wasn't coming also, and Chris Rock said, well, they didn't invite you anyway, so nobody's going to miss you. But still, this, for him to do that, considering some of the things that she had said at her round table about an entanglement, he ain't slapped that guy. That's the guy you should be mad about.
Yep.
I'm so disappointed because it's us. For the world to see, I don't know how many people was watching. Say 5, 10, 15, 20 million people was watching.
Not what it used to be, but go ahead.
But it's us. You see, it's us. And all y'all out there talking, oh, that's her man, his man protecting his woman. Really? That's what y'all...
And I want to start the video right there because I want to pick up on that point that Shannon just kind of left off on. He said he was so disappointed because it's us, meaning black folks who kind of have let the entertainment industry down and not shown class for an event like that. You know, it was, like he said, it was a huge letdown from that standpoint. It's black people just not acting right and just showing that we can't get along, whether it's in the street or whether it's in the entertainment industry. And I want to go back to this other gentleman that I mentioned earlier, Mr. Will Packard. As I said, Will Packard, he's a producer who's been around for a long time. And the fact that he was even producing the show tells you that the Academy Awards saw a desirability for people outside of the standard older white demographic. There was a desire to have us to produce and manage a show of that magnitude, because a lot of people have known, as I've known throughout the years, the Oscars have gotten kind of boring, kind of stale, and they knew it needed some life to it. So they said, let's get into some black people, see what black people can do with it. And then this kind of garbage happens. And as you can see with that first statement up there, Will Packard said, it's a very painful moment for me, because that reflects on him, even though it wasn't his fault. That reflects on him as a producer. It makes me like he runs a rough shot operation that's not professional or unclassy. It was incredibly disappointing. I never thought I'd see this from Will Smith. I mean, much less anybody in the Oscars. If you would have told me this would happen before it happened, I would have told you it was a lie. I was like, Will Smith smacking somebody at any event. You know, that was like in a series where then he started cussing. And then it had to be another black dude. And Chris Rock. I think Chris Rock, he pretty much just kept a low profile. And I understand that, because that's embarrassing. It's all get out for him. For Chris Rock. He got humiliated from the world like that. But it had to be by another black man. And again, like I said, the ironic thing, I think, what's going to come from this is going to make the Oscars whiter. Because they going to look at this stuff like, man, this what black people do. This what black people do. They feel comfortable with acting out like they at our awards, so you got to be freaking kidding me, man. It's going to make the Oscars whiter. And that's going to be the most ironic thing, because that's what Jada Pinkett and them was saying years ago. The Oscars are so white. It's going to go back to making the Oscars whiter. This is crazy. I just wanted to give my 2 cents in. Like I said, y'all go back and watch that whole little clip between Skip Bayless and Shannon Sharpe. Even though they're sports commentators, they commented on this event. I think they did a wonderful job of commenting on what was going on, because I basically echoed their sentiments. This is your guy, J. Crew to you, signing off for this evening, March 28th, 2022. Black people, let's keep trying to get it together, man, because we all got to keep advancing together as one race. I got love for y'all, man. J. Crew to you. If you want to like this video, hit the like button. If you want to subscribe, hit the subscribe button. Y'all have a great evening.